Hello my learned friends. Today's lecture is designed for HS first year English medium. The unit number 1, diversity in living world. The first chapter is diversity in organisms. In this lecture I will discuss about life, living and characteristics of living. At first we have to know about life. What do you mean by life? What is the definition of life? In biological science, life is a unique complex organization of different kinds of ions and molecules which perform certain chemical reaction in order to bring about life activities, and individuals which possesses the characteristic of life are called as living, or you may call it as living being. Living beings show the characteristics of vitality. There are different types of characteristics of living beings which I have already written here. These characteristics are: first one is organization, second one metabolism, next growth and development, reproduction, sensitivity, homeostasis, adaptation, death and movement and locomotion. All these are important characteristics of living beings. Protoplasm is a living matter, and the presence of protoplasm is an important characteristic of living beings. And scientists, namely Huxley, called the protoplasm is the physical basis of life. What is protoplasm? Protoplasm is the living matter present in all kinds of living beings. Aristotle distinguished animals and plants as the living being. Now I am going to discuss about all these characteristics of living beings. First one is organization. What do you mean by organization? So, organization is a process of union of simple units or simplest units to form a complex or large units to perform a common goal. Organization is a one kind of hierarchical process. In this process, small size molecules are gradually aggregated to form the large size molecules and then the total organism. There are different levels in a organization. Here I am going to show about the organization of living beings. First, all the living beings, the first level of organization is atom. These atoms are aggregated to form molecule. Then these molecules are aggregated to form cell organelles. These cell organelles aggregated to form cell. Different kinds of cells are aggregated to form tissue. Then different kinds of tissues are aggregated to form organ. Organs are aggregated to form organ system. Organ systems are aggregated to form an individual of a species. This is the common biological organization of a living being. After the formation of individual of a species, different species are aggregated. Different members of the species are aggregated to form a population. Populations are different kinds of population. That means population is a group of individual of the same species, and these populations aggregated to form community. That means biological community. This community, all different kinds of community again aggregated to form ecosystem, and various kinds of ecosystem aggregated to form the finally biosphere. In this process you see it is a one kind of hierarchical process. Hierarchical process means sequential process in which small units are aggregated to form more complex molecules to form a common goal. In this case, atoms are aggregated to form molecules. Molecules are aggregated to form cell organelles like mitochondria, chloroplast, Golgi battery, etc., etc. These organelles aggregated to form cell. Then this cell aggregated or accumulated to form tissue. This tissue aggregated to form organ, then organ system, then finally the individual of a species. This organization is called as biological organization. Second, after the formation of species, different members of a species form the population, then different population form the community, then different community form the ecosystem, and finally various kinds of ecosystem in this earth form the biosphere. Biosphere means biosphere is the part of earth where the possibility of life existence. Therefore, from here to there, it is called as ecological. From individual to biosphere, from this level to this level, called as ecological hierarchy. Due to the presence of organization, these living beings are otherwise called as organism. Organism includes animals, plants, and microbes or microorganisms. Second one characteristics is metabolism. What is metabolism? Metabolism is the sum total of physiochemical activities occurs in an organism's body or within a cell. There are several examples of metabolism, as for example photosynthesis, cellular respiration, digestion. All these are examples of metabolism, and this process is divisible into another two levels: anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism, otherwise called as constructive metabolism. Constructive metabolism, and catabolism is otherwise called as destructive metabolism. There are two aspects of metabolism. Metabolism means sum total physicochemical activities occurs inside the cell or inside the body of an organism, and there are two aspects: anabolism or constructive metabolism and catabolism or destructive metabolism. What do you mean by anabolism? Anabolism is a one kind of metabolism in which small molecules are aggregated to form large or macromolecules. In this process, the dry weight of the body increases. What do you mean by dry weight? Dry weight means the total weight of the dry or living materials other than the water of our body is called as dry weight of the body. In this process, dry weight increases. Why increases? Because in this process small molecules are aggregated to form the large size molecules. Whereas this process catabolism is otherwise called as destructive metabolism. Why it is called as destructive metabolism? There is a reason. The destructive metabolism means in this process large size molecules are broken down into small size molecules or micromolecules. Due to this process, the dry weight of the body decreases. Therefore, this is called as catabolism or destructive metabolism. There are differences in these two aspects of metabolism. First one, anabolism is called as constructive metabolism, whereas catabolism is called as destructive metabolism. In catabolism, small molecules are aggregated to form the large size molecule or macromolecule. But in catabolism, large size molecules are broken down to form the small size molecule. In this process, dry weight increases, and in this process, dry weight of the body decreases. In this process, energy is released. In this process, energy is not released. In anabolism, energy is not released. But in case of catabolism, large molecules are broken down to small molecules, then again small molecules are broken down to release energy. The examples of anabolism, photosynthesis is an example of anabolism, or it is an anabolic process, because in this process small molecules are aggregated to form the large molecule. And in catabolism, suppose cellular respiration, in case of cellular respiration, glucose is broken down to ATP, water and carbon dioxide. And in this case of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide, water are aggregated to form glucose. Glucose then to starch, which is a macromolecule. Next one is growth and development. Growth and development. Both these words are interrelated, but growth is different thing and development is different thing. At first, we have to know about growth. What do you mean by growth? Growth is the permanent and irreversible increase of protoplasm in an organism's body due to the higher rate of anabolism than catabolism. For the growth of an organism, it is very important to increase the rate of anabolism, because anabolism is a constructive metabolism, then the process of catabolism. If the rate of anabolism is increased, then the rate of catabolism, then growth occur, and growth is the permanent. It is the permanent and irreversible. Irreversible means it is not reversed. After the development of growth, it is not reversed. Therefore, it is called as irreversible process. As for example, if the height of an man increases up to suppose 5 feet 3 inches, then this growth, that this is one kind of skeletal growth, this growth not again decrease to suppose 5 feet from 5 feet 3 inches. Therefore this growth is called as irreversible. Okay, in case of living beings, the growth is called as intussusception. Intussusception means internal growth. The growth of living organisms is called as intussusception. In this case, different kinds of molecules are internally aggregated to increase the dry weight of the living being. Therefore, this kind of growth is called as intussusception. Another kind of growth is observed in case of non-living things, which is called as accretion. Accretion is a growth of non-living beings. It is the external growth. Different kinds of external molecules are or substances are accumulated to form the increase of the volume of non-living beings. Therefore, it is called as accretion. And second term, development. Development is a indicator of growth, but growth and development are not same. Suppose development is a stage of growth. Development indicates the intensity of growth. As for example, suppose we called as flowering is initiated in that plant, then we understood that the intensity or stage of growth of that plant. That means the flowering is an indicator of growth. Therefore, flowering of an plant body is signifies the development. Next one is reproduction. Reproduction is the process of development of individual from their pre-existing individuals. There are mainly two kinds of reproduction. Reproduction means it is the process of development of individuals from their pre-existing parent individuals. This is called as reproduction. There are two forms of reproduction: asexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, from parent bodies, organisms are directly developed, and the developed individuals are genetically similar with their parents. There is no fusion of gametes occur. And in case of sexual reproduction, male gamete and sperm gamete, and female gametes are, male gamete is called as sperm and female gamete is called as ovum. Both these gametes are aggregated to form the individual. And in this reproduction, the newborn individuals are genetically different with their parents, which we call as variation. Next one is sensitivity. What is sensitivity? This one is sensitivity. Sensitivity means the ability of an organism to detect changes in the surrounding environment. A living organism can easily detect the changes which occur around them, and this property, this characteristics is called as sensitivity. Thank you. I will discuss about these topics in next class.